Today I'm talking about something that's a little more specific to my life and to my industry. Talking about performer unions. It includes directing and I think stage managing as well. We call them unions colloquially, but I don't think they identify as unions, which they shouldn't. They don't create solidarity between workers. So the way these organizations work is you have to get work as a performer to get in, but it's harder to get work if you're not in the association. Kind of a catch-22, kind of difficult. You have to get work on union shows to get into the union, but their model is excluding non-union artists to create false opportunity for union artists. You get that false opportunity. You get priority for auditions. This creates a barrier, an extra barrier of entry for an already difficult industry. This has made things more difficult in my life, and I'm now non-binary, but for most of my career identified as male. I'm white. I was straight. I don't know what straight means as non-binary, attracted to the opposite sex. There is no opposite sex. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm sure there are people who care, so use what they care about. Anyways, tangent. My point is, these are extra barriers for people of color, indigenous people, trans people, women. The further you are from a straight white male, the more difficult it is for you in this industry. And the unions only make it more difficult, especially considering there are dues that you have to pay. There's a financial buy-in for these organizations. An even bigger barrier. You also have to maintain a certain amount of work per year to stay in the union, which is difficult. You're paying your fees with no guarantee of work whatsoever. Well, if you work hard, you'll get... it's the same pull yourself up by your bootstraps rhetoric that is not supported by evidence in any way. To review, false opportunity created through exclusion, dividing the industry rather than creating solidarity between workers. I will give them credit. There's the minimum pay requirements, but they also control what you can do. You can't choose to do an unpaid volunteer show. And if there's a show that is doing something important but doesn't have a budget, because capitalism, because theater is not a self-sustaining industry in this economic environment, those shows are not going to get heard. And those shows need to get heard more. They tend to be saying more important things. It's a very divisive and harmful. They're very divisive and harmful organizations. They do more harm, in my opinion, to our industry than they do good. And that goes for film and theater. I think probably more for film. I'm less familiar with film, to be fair. And this isn't an uninformed impression. I was in ACTRA briefly, and it did absolutely nothing for me. Our whole industry, the whole world needs an overhaul. But this is a particular point that could make a difference now. Unions can choose not to keep dividing our industry, keep creating false barriers. All barriers we create are false. Just keep creating barriers to create false opportunity. You're not actually creating opportunity. It's like, I don't know if you did this when you were a kid, standing on the top of a play structure, come up behind someone, grab their shoulders and shake them a little bit. Oh, saved your life. Push them forward and then pull them back. Just that little bit of a scare and go, oh, I saved your life. Well, that's what they're doing. They're going, here's a barrier. We'll take it away for some people. Oh, there's opportunity. Well, there's no opportunity because you put the barrier there to begin with. You see what I'm saying? In an industry where your face, your skin color, how you look affects whether or not you can get work, which is a separate issue. It's not a separate issue, but an issue that's part of this, but not something unions can control. And that's up to the theaters, who have work to do as well. But you're going to create a barrier that disproportionately, like every other system in our society, affects marginalized people. And I think and I think speaking intersectionally, you add disability in there and you see way more indigenous people and people of color on stage and LGBTQ 2S plus people on stage than you do people with disability. Never mind if you have a trans black woman with a disability. With that union in place, you have to get work to get into the union. That person doesn't have a hope in hell. And not because they're not talented, not because they shouldn't be on stage, but because there are these barriers that are created. Here, we're doing this thing for our members. But you're not. You're not actually doing anything useful for your industry. You're hurting your industry. Please stop.